El Salvador is the first country to accept Bitcoin as legal tender. Why does it matter? Well, it matters massively to the world and it matters to you. Let me explain why. We've got civilization moving towards digitalisation, and this is the first country to move in that direction. Why have they done it? Well, El Salvador depends on the US dollar. And if you look at America, it's 28 trillion in debt. What's happened is the US dollar has been digitally added. It used to be tied to gold. 50 years ago, you had to have enough gold to back it up. Now you don't. In God we trust, the note says, really it is in the US we trust. Where they added the money and it was 30% of the currency available in the world, they spent that money in the US. That meant other people around the world holding US dollars in effect had been devalued. So if you're outside the US, in your small country or the small person, how do you fight back? Well, if you've got US dollars, you're not in fiscal control. You're not in control, and you want to be in control. So here, whilst we look at El Salvador being the first, they certainly are unlikely to be the last. Paraguay certainly will look at it. Panama will look at it. Argentina, Brazil, and there's no reason why countries in Africa won't be looking at this experiment and saying, should we do this as well? What's the benefit to El Salvador? Well, the benefit, number one, is PR, isn't it? First of all, here's a controversial move. They're in the news. Okay, guess what? Being in the news is always good for a country like El Salvador. It may attract more inward investment. It may be the people that are sending money back to El Salvador, it costs them less to send that money back. Of course, they can still use dollars when they're going out to shop if they wish to, but they're being aggressively encouraged to have Bitcoin. In fact, the president has given everybody $30 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so that's a nice present, of course. And if Bitcoin continues its ascent, it is likely to do, and become more popular around the world, people in El Salvador may actually get richer. You argue perhaps that small costs or small exchanges, small purchases in Bitcoin are more expensive. Currently they are, but tech is changing quickly to reduce those costs and potentially make it cheaper because of bank costs to actually use Bitcoin. In fact, 70% of El Salvador doesn't have a bank account, so they only deal in cash. So the argument could be maybe lots of them won't even notice the change. But of course, even if they don't notice the change, the fact that their country has been the first to take Bitcoin on as legal tender is important to them as a nation. It's a legacy. Here's the president as someone that can be trusted. Okay, well, he's certainly a maverick, but he's at 40 years of age. He's done something that is a risk for sure, but it's a massive, massive change. Of course, there have been protests for people that perhaps don't understand it and people that are worried that it will attract criminal money, which of course it can. What does it mean for the rest of us in the world? Okay, well, I believe it is this move towards digitalisation. Civilization is moving towards digitalisation. So on the basis of that, there's always been a system of payments. Will that become totally digital? That doesn't mean it has to be Bitcoin. It could be stable coins. It could be the US dollar becomes digital. It could be other countries like the UAE that depend on the dollar. Again, say, well, why do we want to do that? We'll issue our own dirham that's not pegged to any particular currency. It gives people perhaps the freedom digitally, countries, to do that. What does it matter to the individual? Well, the individual can actually, instead of using banks, end up using digital currencies, which ultimately save them money. Of course, that reduces their bank costs and their FX costs. So again, it's revolutionary. We're seeing all of a sudden that the ordinary person has a chance to accumulate wealth because of digital currencies and digital assets. It's cheaper, it's less expensive. You're going direct to the asset rather than going via Correspondent banks, of course, are notorious. You send your money to the US in particular, and it goes via a corresponding bank who charges you, via another corresponding bank who charges you. Of course, if you're using stablecoins or digital currencies, then of course those costs are cut out. It's another move towards digitalisation. Of course, Bitcoin is seen as digital gold. In other words, there's a limited amount. So as we have a digitalised civilization, does Bitcoin become digital gold? Of course, that's a question that nobody knows the answer to for sure. But certainly, as I look at it, and as you look at my YouTube channel, hit subscribe, hit like, share the video. As you look at the changes, do you want an interest in digitalisation? Okay, I'd actually say that you should talk to a financial advisor. You definitely should subscribe to my YouTube channel and see what's going on. You should have some investments via deVere crypto app in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I think it's important to certainly keep an eye on it and have some sort of investment, some diversification into the new world of digitalisation. Okay, I hope the information was of use to you. If you liked the video, please hit like, please share the video. It helps me get out more information on a regular basis.